Hey everyone, it's Matt with Midwest Brick Stain. Today I want to go over our products, and I've gotten so many different questions just this year alone on different types of products, whether it's water-based, whether it's a Limewash. So I wanted to go over and talk about the differences. First and foremost, what we use is known as an inorganic pigment, which is, let's just call it a mineral pigment to keep it simple. What that does, once it's applied to any masonry surface, is it prevents the decay of the actual color pigment, so it's UV protected. So when you compare that with organic pigments, which are basically carbon rings or carbon chains, so imagine, let's just use a Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams water-based product that they sell. And what they're doing, and other companies are starting to do, is they're applying and marketing to, it's a stain, it's a brick stain, it's a concrete stain. So I wanted to identify the difference. First and foremost, inorganic mineral pigments are not compatible with ingredients such as propylene glycol and other fillers that they use to achieve these colors. So when we talk about the products that we use, so for instance, here's a beige tint. You're gonna achieve more of a matte color versus a shiny, like a sheen, versus using a traditional paint, for example. So what you're wanting the product to do is soak into the actual surface, not put a bond over it. And that's where the marketing goes a little bit backwards. And I always ask folks to, ask for a water vapor or permeability tests just to see how the paint reacts in the laboratory. And we can market this 50 different ways. There's really no oversight. There's no one that checks these companies. And when you start marketing inefficiently, that's when people get confused and they're like, what about this product? What about that product? So just to keep it simple, our stains, and I'm going to show you a few colors here. You got a beige and an alabaster, for instance. A pH in a potassium silicate stain, which it's a water glass with inorganic pigments. Let's just keep it simple. When you use our product, or we use our product and our services, a pH of 11 to 12 is achieved. It's alkaline, which means no mildew or algae are going to grow on top of this surface, unless you have a spot where there's constant water flow and then the whole masonry is damaged. Other than that, the pH is way too high, opposed to traditional paint that manufacturers try to market as a brick stain, brick paint, concrete paint, whatever the case is. So in this case, a traditional water-based epoxy, latex, acrylic will never achieve a pH of 11 or 12. You're gonna probably at the most 6 to 8 pH when it comes to these types of paints. Next one I wanted to cover is, we're getting more and more requests on lime-based products. Do you do a lime wash? Do you use lime products? No and no. So here's another mismarketing that some companies are using. I'm not gonna mention their names, but a lime-based paint is going to achieve between a 14 to 15 pH. It's as high as it could go. So for instance, this one is 11 to 12, another 2 or 3 pH higher, it's even that much more alkaline. What will happen with a lime-based, if we add these pigments to a real lime-based product, these colors are gonna fade over time. So a lime-based paint is it only comes in white. So when people tell you it's a lime-based product and it comes in beige, or it comes in maybe a gray or a darker gray like a slate, that's a mismarket, and they're misleading you, because the higher the pH, the composition, it's going to start to break down that color, for example, and then it's going to come back to white, if that makes sense. The other thing is, if you use a traditional lime paint, if you want to call it, what happens is when you apply it, you have to impregnate it. So imagine like when you put down a granite countertop, you put a sealer over it, for instance. when you actually apply a real lime product to the exterior brick, you have to put something over to protect the UV. Otherwise, it's gonna fade within 3 to 4 seasons, maybe 5 max. So that's another mismarketing that we're seeing out there. So I just wanted to be fully transparent and cover the differences in these products.